Welcome, everyone, to episode 42 of the Glimmer Gang podcast. I am your host today, Blake, and joined by my fellow co host, Lee Barbs.
Hello.
How are you doing today, bud?
I am fantastic. Ready to finally review all of the cards from set 4.
Unfortunately, Teddy isn't with us today. Had some stuff to do, but we'll be going over the remaining cards that were revealed for Ursula's return, and we also got some more information about the upcoming league and the upcoming challenges as well. We got our cards for league revealed. Kind of sticking. Well, I think they changed up the pattern a little this time. We have Mickey Mouse, leader of the band, Mulan, enemy of entanglement, the hidden ink caster item, and Ursula's lair, the location card. Uh, I think last set was it was two characters, a song, in a location last set, right?
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of following the same pattern as last set, where we got two characters, item or action, and then a location. So
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
wonder if that's what we'll be continuing to do.
I think it might be. I think they're trying to do a nice mix of different stuff when they do these league promos. And I mean, it's a great group of cards too. I'm very excited. I think we already talked about it a little bit, but that hidden ink caster, man, and having a promo version of it too. Whew, here we go.
Yeah, once I saw that was one of the promos, I'm like, yep, I'm making sure I get to league
Yep.
more often
Yep.
this time around. The Mickey Mouse too, I just love the design on that one. I remember that old short.
Exactly. The old school Mickey artwork and everything. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. But shortly after, we also got our set championship enchanted revealed to us with Ursula, Sea Witch Queen, the Floodborn. It did already get it enchanted for the set, but the art on this one is just whoo.
It's fantastic, honestly. I mean, what did we expect? You know, she is the big bad. She is going to be represented as such. You know, and I like the fact that the uh, the Flotsam and Jetsam are with her. It's the art from their card when they're together, I believe.
Yeah,
Super
and
corrupted and
it is
powered up. You
also
know.
going to be the same art on the playmat as well,
Yes,
much like Stitch was for his set champs. So I can't wait to see what that looks like on a playmat.
I'm very excited as well.
Uh, I thought of after last set champs, I thought I was maybe going to do fewer, but this time I think I'm going to do about the same amount if I
Yeah.
can,
Yep.
because I do want to try to get one of these.
Absolutely, so do I. I mean, as all of our listeners know, I only had the shot to do one set champ. I definitely hope that that number is increased for this set. I'm hoping that the shops that are near me don't do their challenge on the same day, because that's the only reason I couldn't do two, because the two closest places I have to me both decided to do theirs on the same day, which doesn't seem like a great idea if you ask me, because they're they're far away from me, but they are close in proximity to each other, so I feel like they just limited how many people could go to either event, you know.
Yeah. Then, before we get into the remainder of the cards, we did also get some details on the side events that will be going on at the Atlanta Challenge. They are going to be doing multiplayer challenges, sealed deck challenges, which I'm assuming is starter decks. You'll get a starter deck and try to rise to the top
See,
there.
that's what confuses me, because if you look two more down, Blake, there are actual starter deck challenges.
Oh, you're right there. Huh.
That as soon as I saw this list, that jumped out at me immediately. What is the difference between sealed deck and starter deck?
Ooh, hopefully we'll get some details on that
I'm
soon.
hoping so.
And then they also have 6 ink three versus three team challenge. I will say I have seen these played out. They did these back in Miami on the second day of that tournament, and it looked very fun and very interesting to try to coordinate with a few people and just try to have different decks that all lined up within the color spectrum, because everyone has to choose two ink colors but no one can share one,
Right.
so you had to use all six inks across all three of you, so you had to come up with a nice balanced combo of inks to try to bring into it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, starter deck and then constructed deck, which I'm assuming is just going to be like a smaller version of the main event.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Swiss Draft Challenge, so draft several of those throughout the weekend. And then they are bringing the other game that they are famous for, Villainous,
Yes.
which I really have only played a couple times. I really need to pick it up and try some more games with it. It seems very fun.
Oh, Villainous is a blast.
And then, last but certainly not least, they are doing some learn to play demos.
Good to see
Uh,
that coming back.
yeah, especially for people that might just be in the area and being like, "Huh, there's this Lorcana thing going on. What's that about?"
Right.
So,
Exactly. You know.
a way for you to go in and learn about what's making this game so awesome and try and get out for yourself.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of us in the community that take it for granted that we're so invested and so um know how to play this game so well. We would tend to forget that there are tons and tons and tons of people that have never even heard of Lorcana, or if they have, they don't have an opportunity to learn to play. So great job on them for doing this for sure.
Yeah, they really do have something for everyone here, all the way from beginning, and then stuff on the Sunday if you didn't make top cut. So I really like how they have this all scheduled out. Alrighty, are we ready to get into the rest of these cards?
Ready as I think we'll ever be.
All right, let's see if we can keep it to a timely manner.
Yes, apologies beforehand if we seem like we're rushing because we are.
We have a lot to
Yes.
cover, and not every card is going to get 5 minutes of talk time, including our first one here, Benja Bold Uniter, 4 cost Inkable, 5 strength, 3 willpower, Storyborn, Mentor King, 1 lore, Vanilla. He's awesome for draft
Yeah, Benja,
potential.
great Benja for draft.
Yep, I like his flavor text. We must work together to heal the entangled.
That is pretty
I'm
cool.
very interested to see what that will turn into. For I think that's something we'll explore in the Illumineers quest probably.
Oh, for sure. I think you're right on the money with that one.
Okay, so our next card is Namari, Heir of Fang. She is a 3 cost uninkable storyborn villain princess with 2 strength and 3 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability 2 weapon fighting. During your turn, whenever this character deals damage to another character in a challenge, you may deal the same amount of damage to another chosen character. Very, very interesting card. Sorry, excuse me.
Yep,
Very interesting
kind
card.
of like
Yeah.
a mini Hydra.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was thinking too. You know, more of this another challenge matters piece, maybe not the best piece, but another one that could definitely slot into that deck. She's uninkable, so you gotta think they're limiting her for some reason.
yeah. I guess she is more like the Mulan because
Oh
she
yeah,
deals the same damage to another. Hydra is the damage taken
that's
dealt to
right.
something else, and this is whatever damage she deals is done to something
Yeah,
else.
triple
So
shot Mulan. Yep, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, the smaller version of her.
and we do got a lot of strength boosting stuff this set for Ruby. So we'll see if that makes its way into a deck of some sort. Okay, yes, Rhea, Guardian of the Dragon Gem, 4 cost Inkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore, and the ability We Must Join Forces. When you play this character, ready chosen character of yours at a location, they can't quest for the rest of this turn. More of reading stuff, but I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like you kind of want uh, that's the only way to really protect your locations right now is having stuff exerted at them, so you make your opponent think, do you want to go for the location or the character that's
Right.
there? So, though I do know there's some abilities that this might work with that interact with certain locations. So,
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree with you. You're kind of taking away your protection here, and until we get like a analog for bodyguard, but for locations, until we get something like that, there's really, like you said, nothing you can do except here's another target. So she's okay though, decent card, 2 lore, never hurts.
yeah, yeah, true lore never hurts.
All right. So our next card is Imperial Proclamation. It is a 1 cost inkable item with the ability that says call to the front. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, you pay 1 ink less for the next character you play this turn.
Ruby
Very,
Lantern.
very, very fun little Ruby Lantern. I like this card a lot personally.
Yeah, yeah, and being one cost and inkable is just so versatile.
Absolutely, and the sub cost isn't that bad either. The all you have to do is get something to challenge, and then it turns on, which is fantastic if you ask me. Especially to keep beating this dead horse, but for the challenge matters decks that we keep everybody keeps hoping that pops out. This is definitely a turn one play for sure.
Uh, yeah, the only thing with these challenge things is they're so telegraphed.
It really is too. It really is.
Yeah, so we really need to start seeing a lot more cards that help you exert a lot of your opponent's characters.
Or hit unexerted things. Absolutely, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Because once your opponent knows your game plan, they're going to start being a lot more wary of turning their stuff sideways. Although, if they don't, then they're not winning.
That is true as well. But continuing on the Mulan item train, we have Medallion Weights, a 2 cost inkable item uh, with the ability Discipline and Strength. You can exert this item and pay 2 ink, and chosen character gets +2 Strength this turn. Whenever they challenge another character this turn, you may draw a card. So, kind of like the Queen of Hearts on an item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh, with the added benefit, you get 2 more strength, which we've seen a lot this set, a lot of stuff that cares about how strong your glimmers are when they are challenging. So I feel like it goes right in home in there. It may be a little expensive, but we'll see.
Yep. Yep. Just another card, like I said, fitting into that challenge is well, okay, let's face it, Ruby is that's kind of one of their things. That's one of the big things that Ruby does is challenge. So you can kind of just say it's a Ruby thing. But I love this card too. I think this is another, especially I think in draft, any form of card draw in draft is great, and combat tricks tend to be a lot better in draft as well. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely good for
yes,
draft.
very nice. And let's not forget that the 2 items we just talked about and the next one I'm going to talk about here possibly find their place in Ruby Sapphire items. Like they're very low to the ground, low cost items that do okay things. Especially this next one. I think this next one might be another good contender.
No, that is true.
Um,
Want to go ahead and talk about that one?
absolutely. So our next item is Vitalosphere. It is a 1 cost inkable item with the ability Extract of Ruby. Pay 1 ink, banish this item. Chosen character gains Rush and gets +2 strength this turn. That's pretty cool. I like that for one. Like I said, especially in draft, this definitely sees play. And I also love it that this is another one of our um, things from the world of Lorcana, an original idea.
Yeah. Uh, and I like what you said with the ruby sapphire items. Seeing a lot more viable items in all the different ink colors. So I'm just really excited for more item decks because that I do enjoy playing item decks.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And items that do fun things like this are always fun.
Heck yeah.
All right, moving off of those Ruby cards from last week. Let's see, we're moving on to Sapphire. Speaking of item loving people,
Oh yeah.
we have Aerial Treasure Collector, 6 cost uninkable, 3/4 with 3 lore and ward, and the ability of the girl who has everything. While you have more items in play than each opponent, this character gets another 2 lore. So potentially our 5 lore quester for this set. I do kind of like her a little more than our last couple with Allison Bell, where she's starting with 3 at the base instead of 1.
Absolutely.
Um, and I feel like unless you're playing against other item decks, the having more items in play should be pretty easy to pull off, especially in an item heavy deck.
A lot of you got to think that deck a lot of the time has more items than their opponent with one item on the field. So
Yeah,
I think this card is absolutely fantastic. I don't see any reason to not play this card in that deck already, because let's face it, she's might be the perfect target for Lucky Dime because she has ward.
exactly.
So you're just exerting Lucky Dime, popping 5 lore, and she's just sitting there looking all happy, like you can't touch me unless you have like be prepared. And her
Right.
stats are pretty great too. You know, that 4 willpower, that means something. So
Yeah, and even being a 3/4, yes, weak to Medusa, but wait a second, she has ward.
she has ward, haha.
uh,
Like yes,
watch out for Lady Tremaine, though.
exactly. It's the same thing. Lady Tremaine was what we used to get around Cusco and other things that had ward. I think Lady Tremaine sees more play now because I would put money on this card seeing a ton of play.
Yeah, I don't think it quite replaces Gaston for his digging
I think
ability
it's in addition
in
to.
that deck, but I do think you add some aerials
Yes,
in there.
absolutely, 100%. All right. Our next card is Aurora Lore Guardian, I believe. Sorry, I think we got the German one here. Yep. She is Aurora Lore Guardian. She is a 4 cost inkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, with shift 2, which I love. You love to see love seeing low shift costs.
Yeah,
The ability Guardian, opponents cannot choose your items, which it's essentially keeping your items safe from removal. And and I will say, like I said, we have the German one. This might not be the exact text on the cards. Don't come after me. Her other ability is Royal Assortment. You exert one of your items, and you can look at the top card of your deck, put it on either the top or the bottom of your deck. So some filtering. She also likes items. Um, Lots of very blue. I like this card. I very much so. You know, I don't know that there's a ton of people removing items right now anyway, even though that deck sees a lot of play. I don't see a ton of Benjas or Wildcats or anything like that. So
yeah. At most, those decks maybe run 2 of those cards, even so.
I think Rise of the Titans sees more play than any of that stuff does. But I mean, this also
Yeah,
protects from that. So, it's not doing nothing here.
And even if your opponent isn't running removal, you also have that benefit of filtering your deck and getting extra uses out of popsicles. You can now filter that top card and then pop with
Yep.
Flaversham. The popsicle is getting so much utility now
You know,
from those
I think it's
cards.
funny that people really slept on Popsicle out of the gate, and now we realize, oh, this is a really fantastic card.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a little cantrip. You know what I mean?
Speaking of, I believe we got a few more that we'll be talking about later.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, next up we got Dong Hu, Talon Chief, 5 cost inkable, 3/5, storyborn villain with 2 lore, and the ability You Better Talk Fast. Your other villain characters gain support. So some more villain synergy, but in Sapphire, which they do have some solid Maleficents and some other characters. but I kind of surprised to see the villain support in Sapphire.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, man. I'm super surprised we're seeing it spread to a different to a not maybe not another color, but this color specifically. Like you said, there are some good villains. Don't get me wrong, but like I did came out of left field. Not a terrible card. I don't love the support ability overall, so she kind of gets a meh for me on this one. But
Yeah,
until we get some really really good support payoffs and synergies and stuff like that, maybe get like an end game character that gains lore off of how much support you have. That'd be kind of cool, you know.
well, there's Alice, but
Oh, that's true. That's true. She still don't see still doesn't see play though.
yeah,
Okay, our next card is John Silver, Horrors of the Empire. He is an 8 cost inkable, 8 strength, 8 willpower, vanilla, 3 lore, sapphire card with Dreamborn, Alien, Captain, Pirate, Villain.
yeah. He's one
He's
of the
lots of things.
characters that consistently gets a ton
It's
of
true. It's true.
subtypes.
I do love the like Magipunk gold filigree like Mega Man army's got. I think that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Now I got the theme song playing in my head.
Right. So yeah, big old vanilla. I could see this getting drafted. I don't really know that I see this getting played any other way though, because eight's a lot and it's not doing as much as you want it to.
Yeah.
Big bodies don't count for everything in this game like they do in Magic.
Yeah, and I don't think we really got a ton of ramp for Sapphire this set,
I
so
don't think we did. I think that's
I
correct.
don't know if you can really get to 8 in draft. Yeah.
That's a fair point. That is a very good point.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, next one is we got another Prince Philip, Gallant Defender, 3 cost inkable, 1/3, Storyborn Hero Prince with 2 lore, support, and he also has the ability Best Defense. Whenever one of your characters is chosen for support, they gain resist +1 this turn. So I kind of like that. Gives your stuff that you are going to be throwing into your opponent's stuff extra defense. This is one of the cards I feel like will go into that support deck whenever it does become a thing.
Right. Yeah. This will definitely slot into that deck for sure. Especially since it's not just his support ability that makes his other ability go off. It's any support that makes that gives resist +1. So theoretically, you're stacking resists. You're making your guys stronger and harder to deal with. I don't like that it's resist +1 this turn. I would prefer it would be a lot better if it was until the beginning of your beginning of your next turn or however it's
Yeah.
worded. I think that would be a lot better. But we'll take what we can get. Another thing that I noticed is we have a lot of Prince Phillips. Like I didn't think we were going to get as many of this guy printed as we do already.
Yeah.
Okay, our next card is Scuttle, Expert on Humans, a 2-cost inkable sapphire card with 1 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability Let Me See. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal an item card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. I love Scuttle from The Little Mermaid. He's one of my favorite characters in Disney, honestly. He's just so funny. I just remember as a kid he cracked me up. And I don't hate digging. I don't hate digging down into my deck looking for stuff I need.
This definitely goes into those decks that want to play Fishbone Quill,
Yeah,
and you mulligan away your Fishbone Quill because you're playing like Amber character and your uh, Amber deck, and you're afraid of bare necessities getting rid of your items
right.
before you can play them. So yeah, still doesn't quite prevent that, but
It definitely helps though. It definitely helps
yeah,
though.
definitely
Yeah.
help, especially if you mulligan and you don't find your items.
Right, right. The dreaded whiff.
Especially if you're wanting to get something for Flaversham to pop on turn 4. So yeah, I like him. I think you'll see at least a few copies of him in item
Oh,
decks.
absolutely. I agree.
All right, next up we have our Sapphire Legendary, the Queen, Diviner. 3 cost Inkable, 3 with 1 lore and the ability Consult the Grimoire. You exert her and look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal an item card and put it into your hand. If that item card costs 3 or less, you may play that item for free, and it enters play exerted. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is Super Scuttle.
Yep. 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 And I don't. How much does Fishbone Quill cost? Is it 3?
It is a 3 cost item.
Okay, so
So
you're
Fishbone Quill,
the only
Popsicle.
item this doesn't hit is Dime. I
Yeah,
think.
and a few other ones, but those aren't really seeing play
Right.
right now. I was thinking like Eye of Fates is 4 cost.
I forgot about IFAs, if you want me to be honest.
Yeah, it was our go-to item in set one.
Yep, it was great in set 1. I can't believe it fell off like that. But I mean, in all the Sapphire that's getting played, you're going for like 2 or 3 really big turns, and then the game's over. So
Yeah, but I definitely think we see her in these item decks. Probably one of the legendaries I'm going to buy a set of as soon as I can before prices go crazy potentially.
fantastic idea. That's the move, man. That's the move. You gotta try to get in early for some of these cards you think might be sleepers. It'll definitely feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, our next card is was revealed by our good friend Brandon, aka B Squared. The card is Field of Ice. It is a 3-cost inkable item. In Sapphire, its ability is Icy Defense. Whenever you play a character, they gain resist +1 until the start of your next turn. I could see this being fun in draft. I could see playing this in draft for sure because it's sticking out there. It's on the board, so you have the potential to be playing these higher cost characters in draft anyway. So you're playing a lot of stuff post turn 3, especially characters. Just give them resist. Why not just have them gain an
Right.
extra stat point?
Yeah, definitely a good draft one. I don't know if it squeaks into an item deck specifically. Um,
Maybe, but I really don't think so.
Maybe.
That 3-drop spot, you
It's.
really want to be playing Quill on that turn.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're playing Quill regardless. If you're going more Tamatoa heavy and you're just trying to have this like widespread field of items, sure. But for it really only helps against like steel matchups with the damage removal
Right.
uh, against Ruby or anything like that. It feels terrible,
Absolutely. Yep.
but definitely great for draft. I feel
For sure.
like.
For sure.
All right, moving on to another thing I noticed is we for our Sapphire, all of these items work with the Queen. They're all 3 cost.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Nailed it.
Yeah. But this one is the Great Stone Dragon, 3 cost inkable. With the ability Asleep, this item enters play exerted, and then his second one is Awaken, and you exert it, put a character card from your discard into your inkwell face down and exerted. I feel like this one has a bit more of a chance than Field of Ice to be slipped into the item decks
For sure.
because it's another way to ramp and it's using cards that you've already put onto the field. And they've done their job, but now you got one more job of ramping yourself to 10 ink, especially if you're playing Bell.
Oh, absolutely.
Another way to get closer and closer to 10 ink.
100%. I absolutely agree. This is just a variation on what we already have with Fishbone Quill. It does the same thing just in a different way, and I don't see any reason why, if these scuttles start going into these decks and some other key character cards that are going to be coming out, they're a little bit smaller, they're getting removed a little bit easier. I don't see any reason why this won't see play like in addition to Quill. It'll probably be one of those situations where the amount that you use will vary depending on what you're playing into. Yes. All right. Well, here's a location. This is we have Ariel's Grotto, a secret place. It is a 2 cost inkable that has 2 for its movement cost and 7 willpower. Its ability is Treasure Trove. While you have 3 or more items in play, this location gets +2 lore. I like this card. I like this card a lot.
I do too. I feel like I need to test with it to really see if it sticks around in an item deck. I know currently most of them play McDuck Manor, but uh, I feel like, yeah, for 2 less ink, but you also got 2 less health. It's still enough health that I think it can stick around and get that lore, but if anything happens to your items or they just run everything into this, you just spent 2 ink on nothing. It can feel bad.
For sure. And that's why I think you play this a little bit later. You play it onto a field that already has the items you need, and hopefully your opponent has a field that you can that just can't deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or to the best of your knowledge from like your assessment of what they could be playing, cards in hand, ink available, etc., etc. You're going to be trying to play this a little bit safer, but like you know, Queen's Castle sees tons of play, and I think it has the same amount of willpower. So I think this will see play. I think it's like a 2 of in an item deck maybe, because you're not really trying to. This is like this is a surprise late game. You drop it, and
yeah,
you're that's how you win. You know what I mean?
yeah. You know what? I think this goes more in like the Ruby Sapphire
Yeah,
item deck
yeah,
because you be prepared and then you slap a couple of these
yep,
down the turn after with your items out, and it's like, okay, you got an empty
yep.
board.
And at best, they can
Hmm.
they can drop a Maui and take 2 turns to get rid of one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I like it. I really do.
Okay, I'm coming
All
around on
right,
it.
cool.
Yeah. All right. Getting into the steel cards from last week. We've got Aladdin, Determined Swordsman, 1 cost inkable, uh, 1/3 with 1 lore, vanilla, shift target for the new one that we got, I guess.
Yeah, essentially.
uh, Continuing the cycle of inks getting a 1/1/3.
Yep.
So awesome that steel gets
Yep.
that.
Oh goodness, it's all those. It's you know what's coming in steel when you're playing against steel because all of their shifts are really telegraphed and really early game, and you're a lot of the time you're just sitting there like, well, I just have to deal with this. Like I can't handle it, so I just got to watch this happen.
Yeah. Which the 3 health is really great for those shift targets because not a lot of things that can do 3 damage super early in the game.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of the time, the best you're gonna do is like let the storm rage on for 2 and draw a card, which stack 2 damage on it. That's not terrible, but you're not removing they if they shift the turn after, then you just kind of like, well, what did I do that for? All right. Our next card in steel is Chifu, Imperial Advisor, a 3 cost inkable, 0 strength, 5 willpower, 1 lore with Overly Cautious. While this character has no damage, he gets +2 lore. I like this card a lot, personally. I think that this is a cool way to get some sneaky damage or sneaky lore in. Like, you're dropping it on turn 3. I mean, I guess unless you're going into steel, this guy's probably going to get you at least 3 lore.
Uh, and even if you are going against steel, if you have like, if this is steel amber, you could heal him up again. Or even amethyst, we got all those move damage cards now.
Ooh, yeah, good
Move
call.
all of that off of him
Yeah,
and be able to quest for that 3 lore anyways.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I mean, we see a card that I automatically thought about Smee from Mr. Smee from the last set, where it's a card that gets you that's getting you a lot of lore, and it has a big damage component to it in the same way. I think that there's a probably a really cool amber steel healing deck out there somewhere. I really feel like, or it's at least starting to be there, because
Yeah.
you have this guy, say, like you said, say they even hit him for something, the next turn you drop Rapunzel, heal up, draw a bunch of cards, go for 3 lore. Like, that just feels
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Like, Chifu, I don't like you as a character, but your card is great.
Yeah. Just happy to see a lot more Mulan
Oh,
this
for
set,
sure,
though.
for
All the
sure.
other characters,
Yep.
for sure. Still new Mushu, though. Sad.
I know, right?
All right. Next one is Chen Po, Imperial Soldier. He is a 5 costs inkable, 4/7 bodyguard with 1 lore. He is a solid dude.
Big old solid boy. We know Chenpu or Chenpo.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic character. Like the trio, these 3 guys, I love them so much. They're some of my favorite characters in Disney when I was younger, just because
Yeah.
they're so funny, and love it.
I really hope we get a set of them with the disguises.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh.
For getting
Please,
into
yes.
the temple.
Please, yes.
Please, I want those.
I will
at some point.
I will pay good money for all of those cards, because good golly, that would be hilarious. And I mean, I think that kind of theme, them being all disguised, that'd be a perfect theme for like Emerald cards, I think.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
good, and we do have some Mulan Emerald
See,
cards.
there we go.
So, yeah, could be a thing. Could be a thing.
It's a good thing that the people over at Lorcana are really good at designing cards, because I guarantee they already thought about this. They're 5 steps ahead of us.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're sitting there going like, "Oh, set 8, guys."
Yep, exactly. All right, up next is a card I'm super duper excited about. I really like this card a lot. Donald Duck, Buccaneer. He is a 4 cost inkable, 3 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore with the ability Boarding Party. During your turn, whenever this character banishes a character in a challenge, your other characters get +1 lore this turn. The implications, the spiciness that you could have with this guy, I am excited.
Yeah. Definitely one of the big cards for a challenge deck, giving everything else extra lore, especially if you got a bit of a wider board. So your characters that are normally challenging can do some questing.
It's true. It's very true. And imagine you have this guy on the field, and say you're playing into an item deck and they have a Hiram out on the field exerted. If you have a way to unexert Donald, you could swing into that Hiram 3 times or 4 times if you were okay with sacrificing Donald, and give your other characters 4 extra lore.
That is scary.
Yeah, because he goes off every time. He's got a banish. Sorry, he's got a banish, not just damage. That was me not reading correctly. But into aggro, this could be spicy because you're just ripping through things.
Yeah. Definitely some shenanigans you could pull with that, as
Mhm.
long as your opponent has stuff exerted for you to challenge, or if you have the Wreck-It Ralph card, the one that lets you challenge unexerted characters.
Oh, yep. I like it.
May see that come into fruition, maybe.
I certainly hope so.
Especially against like Emerald Steel deck with those Prince Johns.
Yes.
Staying right there.
Yep.
Prime target for that. Also, he is a pirate captain, so he works very well with the Jolly Roger.
Oh, true. Good call on that one.
So play him in, rush in, and take something out real quick. Yeah. Okay, next up is Ling, Imperial Soldier, another one of our Mulan boys. He's a 3 cost inkable, 3/3 with 1 lore, and the ability Full of Spirit. Your hero characters get +1 strength. So, kind of like that new Lumiere that we got, but only hero characters, which I feel like there's quite a few different colors now that are caring about hero characters. So I feel like he'll get slipped into one of those decks potentially, especially if it's one that cares about the strength.
Yep. Yeah, lots of hero synergies happening.
And not too bad for draft either.
Yeah, no, I think with the amount of heroes that are in this set, I think that the heroes matters cards are definitely I think they're going to be good in constructed and in draft personally. Our next card is Magic Broom Brigade Captain. It is a 6 cost inkable, 2 strength, 6 willpower, 2 lore with resist 1, and the ability Army of Brooms. This character gets +1 strength for each other broom character you have in play. So very clearly this is meant to be the top end of the broom deck, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, you get this big boy out there and either he's charging in and taking stuff out or he's questing and not really worrying about getting the crackback. I think this guy's fantastic either way.
Yeah, I think more for the probably questing and just taking the hits, because as long as you don't leave your other brooms open, keeps that strength up.
Right. Exactly. I like all the broom stuff. I can't wait to see the first iteration of brooms when it finally makes its appearance.
Yeah, I've been dying for broom, so I'm so happy to finally see this deck getting. I feel like the final pieces that we need to have at least a pretty decent broom deck.
Right. It might not be tier 1 by any means, but it'll be playable, and I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I have my. I dug out my sorcerer Mickey ears from Disney
nice.
from my storage. So when I get to put that deck together and bring it to locals, I'll be wearing those. All right, back on the hero track, we got Phil. I can't say his full name.
Philoctetes.
Philatides. No nonsense instructor, 4 cost inkable, 2/3 with 2 lore and 2 abilities. First is you gotta stay focused. Your hero characters gain challenger +1. And then shameless promoter. Whenever you play a hero character, gain 1 lore, which is just awesome.
Yeah, this is
All he
fantastic.
has to do is sit there. If you can find a way to give him ward, that would be
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
So he can just continue sitting there, and every single time you play a hero character, just get lore and give them extra strength for when they swing into things.
I know. Yeah, that's man, I like this card a lot too. Like honestly, this is probably my favorite set so far. I think that there's like mechanically wise, I think there's just a ton of really fun stuff and fun mechanics and fun little things to do. And like I think is this Steel's first gain lore without having to quest type thing? It's one of. It has to be one of, if not the first.
I think it may be for something outside of Amethyst to
Right.
just get lore. Yeah. Uh, yeah, well, Grandpappy for healing stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yep.
But
True.
that's Sapphire. But for Steel, yes, I think this is our first one.
All right. Our next card is our first steel item. It is the RLS Legacies Cannon. It is a 3-cost uninkable item with the ability Baboom. You exert, you pay to ink, discard a card to deal 2 damage to a chosen character or location. Baboom on a stick. Quite literally.
Only you also have to discard a card.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So I don't really like this.
Yeah, it's kind of tough until we see cards that want to be discarded.
Yeah.
Um, these discard cards are going to have a tough time, or if you're playing a Chernobog deck. Chernobog right now is like the only big payoff for discard right now, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. And it's not even like really it's not even really paying off the discard, it's paying off having stuff in discard. But I mean
Right.
it's semantics at that point, but at the same time I would like to see something that is what in the act of the discard is what does it for
Right.
you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been going on about this forever. Like seeing stuff like a sapphire card that when you discard this, it goes into your inkwell instead.
Right. Yep.
Something
Yep.
like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're right. I can't wait, and I hopefully within the next few sets we'll start seeing stuff like that. So the cards like this can really pop off. Hopefully,
I hope so.
but for now, I think the cost is too much for this guy.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, now for some steel locations. We have the Wall Border Fortress, 4 cost inkable with 2 move cost and 8 willpower, and the ability Protect the Realm. While you have an exerted character here, your other locations can't be challenged. So, our first kind of pseudo bodyguard for locations. But I feel like it's a lot of setup to protect other locations, and I'm trying to think of what other locations you would really want to protect.
I mean, I guess this could protect Bayou if you're trying to do the Bayou Sheriff of Nottingham combo, but that's like
Right.
the first thing that comes to mind. And until we get like a really really amazing location in Steel, especially, I don't really think this sees a lot of play. I mean, it is hard to get rid of, but it's also hard to, like you said, it's hard to play. Then you got to get something there, and then hope that's not taken out. Like it's a
Yeah,
lot.
it's a lot of setup. So we'll see if it can be made to work at some point.
All right, so here is the last card of the reveals from last week. We have Thebes, the Big Olive. It is a 1 cost inkable location with 1 move cost and 7 willpower. It has the ability, if you can make it here, during your turn, whenever a character banishes another character in a challenge, while here, gain 2 lore. That's okay. I don't hate this.
This one's a lot easier
Yeah.
to set up, especially in Steel. You have the map of Treasure Planet, so you can play this for one and move something here for free.
Yeah, exactly. You have that. You have Jim Hawkins. You have the new Tuk Tuk. Like, there's a lot of ways to get stuff here to start doing things. Because does Tuk Tuk have rush or give rush?
No, he just moves whatever else is on your board to the same
Oh,
location.
he
So
gives some
if it's
strength.
something you played the last turn, yeah, he helps bring that over,
Yeah, that's what it was.
and then they can challenge and banish something and get 2 lore,
He has
which
evasive. That's what it is. He
yeah,
has evasive.
which if you move like a Robin Hood here,
Yeah,
get 4 lore.
absolutely, absolutely. That'd be great. Yeah, I love it thematically. It's great. It's a fun little scene from the movie Hercules as well.
Yeah, I also love the nickname of the Big Olive.
Yes, that's such a fun joke. I love that. It's one of my because
Yeah.
that's in the movie, right? Yeah, if I'm remembering
Yeah,
correctly.
that's
Yeah,
part of the movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
so good, so good.
I wonder if we'll get another version of the location that finishes the rest of that quote. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that would be sweet.
Yeah. So, starting off with our final reveals, Daisy Duck, Musketeer Spy, 4 cost Inkable, 2 strength, 3 willpower, Hero Dreamborn Musketeer with 1 lore, and the ability Infiltration. When you play this character, each opponent chooses and discards a card. Great for multiplayer,
Yep, for sure.
and I'm also happy to see more Musketeer cards that aren't just Musketeer bodyguards.
Yes.
Yeah. So finally, the Musketeers have more stuff that they can protect.
Yeah, I really really enjoy this card as well. It's cool. I always love seeing the Amber discard stuff. Um, her stats aren't bad, like you said in multiplayer. She is a powerhouse. I the art on this card is probably one of my favorite arts so far, just in general. Honestly, having
Yeah.
Pete's shadow in the back like it is, and then her tunic, the way that they did it to match up with the amber color scheme and the symbol, I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Definitely one that I'll be getting.
Oh,
a
100%.
playset of
100%.
quickly. It is a common, so
Yeah,
yeah, that'll be easy.
absolutely. All right. Next card we're going to talk about is Donald Duck, Musketeer Soldier. He is a 3-cost inkable, 2 strength, 3 willpower, Dreamborn hero musketeer with bodyguard, 1 lore, and the ability wait for me. I was going to attempt a Donald Duck voice, but I wanted to spare our listeners.
Uh,
So we have wait for me. When you play this character, chosen character gets +1 lore this turn. I could see this getting a lot if you can get this back to your hand and play it more than just the one time. It's fantastic, I think.
so like Amber Emerald with Bippity Boppity?
That would be great. That would be really really good with this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Amethyst is the other one with the
With
Mims.
the Mims,
So
yep. Like Snake and Fox both really like this card. I think it's fun. I think it's really really cool. Great art too.
yeah,
Fantastic art.
yeah. I wish he had a little more for his stats, but
Yes.
I feel like it's good enough, especially when he's giving something else a turn. Like if you with Amber, you're playing your one drop Lilo, so you can throw him down and she'll get to quest for 3 for the
And
turn.
he can protect her too, so
And Protector,
yeah.
yeah,
So
exactly. So
very good card. Very good
eh,
card.
very good card, yeah. All right. So next up for these Amber cards, I guess going back in the alphabet a little bit, we do have Cogsworth.
Oh, yep. Young Cogsworth. Forgot about him.
Yeah, yeah. Our
We'll do our best to have these in order, folks.
yeah, yeah. The list we're going off of is a little disoriented, but it's got it all. So, Cogsworth, Major Domo, 4 cost inkable, 3/3 with 1 lore, and the ability as you were. Whenever this character quests, you may give chosen character -2 strength until the start of your next turn. So I do like that it's until the start of your next turn. Probably safely quest without worry of that character taking out one of your things, or you can just challenge into it and take less damage. And then we also have all the other cards that we've been seeing that care about strength, what strength the card is at. So I feel like at some point these strength reduction cards are gonna see more play than they do currently.
I think so too. I absolutely agree. I think this is a really fun little card to have in your deck. It can definitely help keep stuff safe, especially some of your littler stuff early game. I like it a lot. I think it's fun. Great art too. Real fun. Real fun art.
Oh yeah,
So our next card is Gaston, Despicable Dealer. He is a 3-cost uninkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, storyborn villain with the ability Dubious Recruitment. You may exert him. You pay 2 ink less for the next character you play this turn. He has 1 lore. Um so Pluto? Does Pluto do 2 or is Pluto just 1?
Pluto does 1. At the same cost, we have Doc with the
Ah,
dwarves
yep.
that does 1. So basically, for the cost of being uninkable, he gets to do 1 less, or 1 more
I
less.
really like it. Honestly, I really feel like in the decks that we're already trying to ramp with characters anyway, that this will see play. I really think it just kind of replaces Doc almost.
Yeah, and he has 4 willpower, so definitely needs like a fox to run into him
Sure. Yep.
in
Exactly.
order to get taken care of.
And at that point, you're already going to be playing the 6 or 7 drop that you were planning on playing anyway. So
Yep,
great card. I like it.
yep. All right, so next up, I believe we have Max, Loyal Sheepdog, 3 cost inkable, ally storyborn, 4/3 with 1 lore, and the ability Here Boy. If you have a character named Prince Eric in play, you pay 1 less to play this character, so a 3 cost 4/3. If you have Prince Eric, which still does have that 2 drop one, or no,
Is there a 1 or 2 drop Prince Eric?
in steel.
Oh, yep. Okay. Good call.
Yep,
You're right.
there's that one. Uh, oh, he's 3 cost. So he would be 2 cost following that.
Yep.
So if we had a 1 drop one, that would be crazy.
That would be really crazy
Yeah.
because having dropping a 4/3 on turn 2 is wild.
Yeah. But definitely solid for draft. I
Yeah,
think that's a great start line for draft.
absolutely, 100%. And it reminds me of the LeFou that is cheaper for having Gaston out. And as much as I thought that I was going to see play it, it didn't end up mattering too much. I think it could still one day, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Though he's more about the stats, while LeFou was more about the lore
True.
because he was a 2 lore
Yep.
character.
Absolutely. All right. So on to Prince Eric now, I believe.
Yep.
All right. And this art is I can't even begin to explain how amazing I feel this art is. And the Vanessa as well. Its accompanying art is fantastic. We have Prince Eric, Ursula's groom. He is a 6 cost inkable, 5 strength, 5 willpower, floodborn hero prince. He has shift 4, 2 lore, and the ability under Vanessa's spell. While you have a character named Ursula in play, this character gains bodyguard and gets +2 willpower. Pretty great. Pretty great. And I do want to clarify, I noticed that our friend Googly Glimmers got on Twitter to talk about this card a little bit. I don't believe that you can't play him in bodyguard because of the way the ability works. He has to already see the
Right.
Ursula in order to have the bodyguard, which he doesn't have it on
Yeah.
play. So
Yeah. So if you hard play him, yeah, you're just playing him in the regular position.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, exactly,
So, but if you shift him and then quest, he'll have that bodyguard active.
exactly. And then he'll be a 5/7 with bodyguard. Good luck getting past that and not suffering the consequences.
Yep.
All right, great card. All around, I think it's a fantastic card.
Okay, moving on to our last action card for Amber. We have First Aid, 1 cost inkable, remove 1 damage from each of your characters. Pretty good. If you have a really wide board, can get a bit of value, especially in a Grandpappy deck.
Yeah, dude. With Grandpappy, I think this is definitely a fantastic little piece to have in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw earlier that, or we were talking about earlier that there's going to definitely be, you're going to see more healing. You're going to see more people taking advantage of that healing. So, and how dare whoever did it hurt Pluto?
Yeah. I need to find out the other card who did this to Pluto. We're coming for you.
Yeah, we're coming for you, buddy. Your days are numbered. All right. I think we got one more card in Amber to talk about. We have the Underworld River Styx. It is a 2 cost inkable location with 2 move cost, 6 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability Save a Soul. Whenever a character quests while here, you may pay 3 ink to return a character card from your discard to your hand. So this is essentially Hades' ability from his set 1 card, just
Yep.
just 1 cheaper actually, because he's a 4 cost, isn't he?
Yeah.
I like it. Very good.
Pretty
You're going to
good.
be getting
Pretty
stuff back
good.
from the discard pile. Very, very thematic for being the River Styx.
Yeah. Specifically a character though. So,
Oh, yep. You are correct.
which kind of works against Chernobog, unfortunately. So,
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer. Not gonna lie.
yeah. But I am very interested to see decks that care about recursion in some way. Like, it would be very cool if we get a card that gets a lore every time you take a card from your discard to your hand or something
Yes,
like that.
yes, I like that.
So, starting with, I think, Bruno Madrigal, Undetected Uncle, 4 cost inkable, 3/3 with 1 lore. He's evasive, and he has the ability, you just have to see it. You exert him, name a card, then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the named card, put that card into your hand and gain 3 lore. Otherwise, put it back on top of your deck. So, more benefits from the scrying abilities that we see a lot in Amethyst.
Yeah, yeah, you can say that again. I think that this is gonna see a lot of play, man. I think that there's a definite possibility. And Teddy actually posted on Twitter a fun 3 card combo with this to do some real damage. Fan the Flames, the boss is on a roll, and Bruno all together is kind of nutty. And especially if you have more than the fan, and I should say it's fan the flame effects. It doesn't actually have to be fan the flames. Anything that can get Bruno to unexert so
Yep.
he can exert again, because the boss is on a roll. You put the 5 cards back on top in any order you want. Just remember the order, and you're gaining a ton of lore.
Yeah.
anywhere from 3 to 15 lore if you have 5 ways or 4 ways to get him to unexert. So could definitely be really fun.
Yeah.
All right, our next card is Magic Broom, Illuminary Keeper. It is a 1 cost inkable, 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, with the ability Nice and Tidy. Whenever you play another character, you may banish this character to draw a card. Finally, the 1-drop Broom. Finally, we have him.
Yes. And works great with Yensid, uh, because when you play Yensid, you get to draw a card. If you have a broom in play, and he's 2 costs, so turn one, this guy, turn two, Yensid,
Yep,
draw off of Yensid, then
exactly.
banish this guy to draw another card.
Yeah, crazy card advantage super early in the Broom deck. Possibilities are really, really good. Because, like, and the thing is, you can quest with this guy too. You quest with them, then you play Yen Sid, then you draw off of Yen Sid, then you draw off, banish this guy, and draw off of this guy. Pure value. I really, really love it.
Yep, definitely going in that broom deck. Maybe even some other decks.
Honestly, that might be a one
He's
drop you see in other decks, really.
yeah. I mean, he's kind of like the inverse Turnabout's followers.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so moving on to Magical Maid, Feather Duster, 2 cost inkable, 2/2 with 2 lore, vanilla, solid 2 lore quester.
Yep. Yep. Two really any card that has 2 lore with a 2 cost, it's solid. It's a solid card that might see play. I would even consider playing this in aggro decks, just because getting this down turn 2 with 2 lore does not feel too bad at all. It really doesn't, even though it's a vanilla. All right, our next card, I believe, is Pico, Helpful Toucan. He is a 2 cost inkable, 3 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, vanilla. What movie is this from? I'm not sure.
He is from Encanto. He is
Ah,
the toucan that is usually with oh, I'm gonna get hate for not remembering the name immediately.
well, I didn't even know where he was from, so I think all the hate will be on me. They'll give you a
uh,
pass on this one.
Antonio, the little cousin, the that gets his powers at the beginning
Doesn't
of
he
the
talk like
movie.
he doesn't he like communicate with animals or something like that? Isn't that
Yeah,
his
yeah,
ability?
he communicates with animals. Yeah,
Pretty sick ability.
yep,
Not gonna
yep.
lie.
All right. Next we have Ursula, Bat Sea Witch, 2 cost, inkable, 1 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability of Challenger 2. This is our base form of our villain for the set.
Yeah,
Yep, before she gets all crazy with the Floodborne stuff. Just solid Challenger.
I just realized the art is also depicting the Ursulas betraying each other, because it's the
Yep,
other Ursula that has the hex crown or hexwell crown,
yep. It's the middle of their fight, it looks like.
which I cannot wait to speculate about the hexwell crown.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of implications about what this item can do.
100%, 100%. But yeah, great little card. I like her a lot, and she's only uncommon, so you love to see it.
Yep.
All right, moving on to Swing into Action. It is a 1 cost inkable with the ability chosen character gains rush this turn. I could see this maybe seeing play. I'm going to be honest with you, since most actions that you can't sing are get ranked a lot lower than the actions you can sing. So,
Yeah. Yeah, because you
um,
have to play this on the same turn that you play that character.
exactly,
Otherwise, why are you playing this?
exactly. So it's essentially makes any character cost one more to have rush. Is
Yeah.
essentially what it does. So I don't love it. Probably see play. It'll probably see play in draft. I can imagine it'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee it'll see a lot more play in draft because getting a character down with rush out of nowhere could probably win you a game or two in draft. So
Yeah. All right. Moving on to Ursula's plan. 3 cost uninkable action that each opponent chooses and exerts one of their characters. Those characters can't ready at the start of their next turn. So pretty solid for multiplayer for sure.
yeah, yeah, dude. You definitely want to lock stuff down, especially in multiplayer. I noticed that. I got to play a game of multiplayer recently that kind of ability specifically can really turn the tide.
In 1v1 though, I guess it could be worth it, especially if they only have the one thing on board and they don't have a choice. But when your opponent does have a choice, it gets really tough to have them choose something that's in your favor.
This is a reason that it's kind of a shame that the forcing to exert ability is almost exclusively an amethyst because it does not help the challenge matter deck out at all.
Yep.
Someday.
Someday.
Yep. All right. Our last amethyst card that we're going to talk about today is Rose Lantern. It is an 2 cost inkable item with the ability Mystical Petals, I believe.
Yep.
And you can exert it and pay 2 ink to move 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character. So very much in line with what the Bell line does in this set. The 2 amethyst bells that we got. They these are all doing the same thing. I don't hate seeing the effect. I think that this effect is probably a little, maybe not on this card. I think that Shift Bell has the best version of it, but
Yeah.
you could essentially heal up one of your guys completely in a lot of cases, and then take something out on your opponents or more than one thing. I don't. Does it have to go to do all on Shift Bell? Do they all have to go to the same thing? Like, do they all have to? They all have to come off of one character. Do they all have to go onto one character? I think with the way it's written, they do.
With the way it's written, I think it may work that
Anyway,
way. I
either
would
way,
have to.
you're still taking
Yeah.
out like your opponent's fox or anything else that has value with 3 willpower or less.
The only thing I don't like about this is paying the 2 ink every
Yes.
time to move 1 damage. If it was 2 damage, I would maybe feel a little better about it. But moving 1 for 2 ink is a little much, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think the other versions of this ability we see are a little bit better, but I think the most solid part of this card is that art, man. That art is
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah,
And we see, and honestly, it looks. I didn't take this close of a look before, but it looks like the Rose Lantern is actually destroying the corrupted barnacle things that we see on a lot of it's like
yeah,
it's spilling out of the lantern and like going through them and breaking them apart and stuff. It's pretty cool.
yeah. And also, story wise, we already got our Enchanted Rose item card, and this is the Rose Lantern. So I think this debunks the theory of getting Floodborne items, at least for now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right because this is essentially that
Yeah,
without saying it. But I mean, I guess that is the benefit of having items because they don't really have to be. They just
yeah.
because are items summoned as well? Like, because we summon glimmers,
Uh,
are items summoned as well, or are those just things we have at our disposal as
I
Illumineers?
feel like for some they are like if you summon a King Triton with his trident,
Right.
uh, that's a trident that is a glimmer. But then I feel like the trident that Ursula has been going after is like a different thing.
Right. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
so I think there's like some sort of distinction. I don't know exactly what that is yet, but we're getting into my channel's territory.
Yeah, yep.
So let's move on to
Yes,
Emerald.
yes.
With Diablo, Maleficent Spy, one cost inkable, 1/2 with one lore, and the ability Scout Ahead. When you play this character, you may look at each opponent's hand. So, a nice look at your opponent's hand,
Oh, that's always a
and
great. Yeah, I love that ability, especially attached to a body.
yep. And he makes a nice little shift target for the new
Yep,
Diablo that we got.
yep, solid card. I like it a lot. All right, our next card, I believe, is Gus, Champion of Cheese. He is a 2-cost inkable, storyborn ally with 2 strength, 3 willpower, and 1 lore. He's a vanilla. I love Gus. Fantastic character. But he doesn't do a whole lot though. He gets you 1 lore. That's about it.
Yep. Solid little guy.
Yep.
Yes, next will be Hera,
Yep.
Queen of the Gods. 3 cost inkable, 1/3 with 1 lore, Queen Deity Storyborn. She has Ward and 2 other abilities. Protective Goddess, your character's named Zeus gain Ward, and you're a true hero. Your character's named Hercules gain Evasive. Some sort of Emerald Steel Hercules deck, I'm guessing,
Yep.
that we'll be getting.
Yeah, because isn't the Zeus that we got this set, isn't he an emerald?
Yeah, we did get a Zeus. We'll be talking about him soon.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool. Good stuff. I like that. I really like this card. I think it's fun when you have cards that give specific other archetypes buffs. I think it's really fun. You see this a lot of the times in a lot of other TCGs. And those decks, a lot of the time, can become pretty powerful over time. Especially,
Uh,
it just
yeah,
gets better the more like the fact that she herself has ward, and she gives any other Zeus ward and Hercules evasive. It
yeah,
makes that deck so hard to touch already, like because
yeah,
there's not enough yet, but like wait until we get like baby Hercules, give me a 1-drop 1/1 Hercules, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
as soon as we have stuff like that, these cards are gonna. I think that this deck will be fun to play no matter what, but I don't know how competitive it'll be yet. You know what I mean? It'll get there. I think it'll get there. All right, our next card is Megara, Captivating Cynic. She is a 3-cost uninkable Dreamborn ally with 3 strength, 6 willpower, and 2 lore, with the ability Shady Deal. When you play this character, choose and discard a card or banish this character. I love Meg as a character. She was always one of my favorites. She's probably one of my
Yep.
favorite um, female characters from a lot of the different movies. She's very strong. She's very self-sufficient. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she's not afraid to stand on her own 2 feet, and I love that about her. Um, like we talked about earlier, until there's cards that say I want to be discarded, I don't know how I feel about her.
Yeah. I feel like very strong for draft right now because 3/6 on 3
Yeah, that could be
is
nuts.
really tough to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll probably be a draft powerhouse in this set. I don't know that beyond that we really see a whole lot of her.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we've said for all the discard stuff, we need some discard
Yep.
shenanigans to go with it to really feel good enough, I think, for constructed.
I do appreciate that they're taking their time though, because rushing
Oh, yeah.
something like that could be very disastrous for the game in general.
Yeah, I anticipate them that it's not going to be anything too crazy because I know it is a deck that I used to play in Yu-Gi-Oh way back in the day with the Dark World cards, and almost all the cards in the Dark World line could get summoned,
Right.
and some of them were like high level monsters, and all you got to do is discard it and you get this high level monster out, and if it would be the equivalent of saying getting an 8 drop for free.
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
so yeah, I don't want them to go that nuts with
Right.
it,
And there's
but
a
I could see them doing like a 2 drop for free.
sure, sure. There are also cards in like Magic the Gathering that when they're in the discard, they have an ability that is only active while they're in the discard pile. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like there's one card that specifically I think it's named Brawn. It's a creature, but it gives all your other creatures trample when it's in the graveyard, and
Hmm.
trample lets you like bypass defense, which is
Right.
pretty great. And I don't know how much Magic you play, but yeah, it's fantastic, and I'd love to see stuff like that happen too. But until it does,
So next up is Pain, Immortal Psychic, 3 cost Inkable, 2/4 with 2 lore, vanilla, solid little guy.
yep, he looks like he's in quite a bit of pain.
As
Yeah,
always.
this is a really funny scene from the movie too, and the fact that the next card and this card have connecting arts like they do, I think it's awesome. I really
Yeah.
really love it. Our next card is Panic, Immortal Sidekick, and he is a 4 cost inkable Storyborn ally with 3 strength, 3 willpower, and 2 lore, and the ability Reporting for Duty. While this character is exerted, if you have a character named Pain in play, your villain characters can't be challenged. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Lots of
Uh,
moving parts, but it's a fun effect. I really like the effect.
I will say this one passed me by. I never read it, so
Yeah.
I'm taking it in right
Yeah,
now.
and it's interesting to see that this is another color that the villain keyword has come into. So now it's in sapphire, emerald, and amber. So
Yeah, so if you have some way to give these two guys ward and you just quest away with your
yeah,
villains, ooh,
honestly,
very interesting.
very very interesting. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, so
Yeah,
next up is Pete, Born to Cheat, 2 cost Uninkable, 2/3 with 1 lore, villain Dreamborn Musketeer, and the ability I Clobber You. Whenever this character quests while he has 5 strength or more, return chosen character with 2 strength or less to their player's hand. So, kind of like the Pete that we got back in set 2, I think,
that sounds right.
where he gets extra stuff when he has more strength. I don't know. If he had a little more lore on him, I feel like um,
Yeah, I wish he had more
you would
lore.
want to quest more with him. And it always just feels weird giving strength to something that's not going to challenge.
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't. That feels weird too. I mean, maybe in like a support build, it might be fun. But like then again, like I said earlier, I'm not a fan of support. That's just what comes to mind for like the consistent combat tricks like that, because that's what this would rely on. Because he like doesn't have a way to give himself more strength, which I would like to see too. But I mean, he's uninkable, which I don't understand,
Yeah.
because it's a cool ability. It's just it seems like too clunky. You know what I mean? The ability feels very clunky. But maybe I'm sure the game developers know better than we do. All right. I think the Fates is next.
Yep.
All right. Our next card is the Fates. Only one eye. 1 cost inkable storyborn ally with 2 strength, 1 willpower, and 1 lore. The ability all will be seen. When you play this character, look at the top card of each of your opponent's deck. This is very interesting to me because this makes me feel like Mill might be supported more than it already is. Because that's what this card is begging for. Is like, yeah, I get to look at the top card of all their decks, but like, what do I do with that information?
Yeah. I feel like there will be some card down the line that may interact with this a
Yeah,
bit. It's like something like maybe an item or something where you exert it and you name the top card of your opponent's deck, and if it is that card, discard it.
right.
That would be interesting to
Yeah,
see.
that would be great. I'd be down for that for sure.
But for right now, just some free info. But between this and Diablo, I think I'd rather see the hand.
Yeah,
That's a lot more
exactly.
information than the top card of the deck.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Final character, I think, is Zeus, Mr. Lightning Bolts. 3 cost Inkable, 0 strength, 5 willpower, with 2 lore. And the ability target practice. Whenever this character challenges another character, he gets strength equal to the strength of chosen character this turn. So not even just the character he's challenging, but just any character that you have on the that's out in play. So you can choose someone's Maui gets 6 strength and take out something high willpower like a Haram
Yep.
if you're facing Ruby Sapphire.
Oh yeah. Yep. For sure. Yeah. I don't hate that at all. I actually quite like this card.
Yeah, I find it interesting that we're continuing this trend where he has nothing for the clapback, though.
Yeah. 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 It's weird. Oh, some king of Olympus you are, buddy.
Yeah, no wonder he gets captured in
Right.
the end.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to move on to actions. And first up, we have Dodge. It is a 2-cost inkable action that has the ability chosen character gains ward and evasive until the start of your next turn. Fun little card. Really, it makes something really, really hard to deal with. And I like that. But I also don't know that you could burn 2 ink on this in like a competitive setting. Maybe, but I feel like you want static effects. You don't want one-offs. You know the combat tricks as this is. It's just they're just never quite as good as just having the ability.
Moving on to make the potion. 2 cost uninkable, and it's a choose one ability. You can either banish a chosen item or deal 2 damage to chosen damaged character. So more emerald shenanigans. If anything, I feel like this is a better tech than Wildcat,
Agreed.
but
Yeah.
at the same time, being uninkable definitely feels a lot worse.
There's pros and cons to this, but I do think that if you're in Emerald and you're trying to get rid of items, this is just you I could see this easily in Emerald Steel where you're getting a lot of that pinging damage off anyway. So good card. I like it. Fantastic art too.
Oh yeah.
Our last action is Ursula's Trickery, a 1-cost uninkable with the ability each opponent may choose and discard a card. For each opponent who doesn't, you draw a card. This is great for multiplayer. This is just
Absolutely, especially on one
amazing. Yeah,
cost.
this is
Woo.
amazing in multiplayer. Could be pretty fun in um, constructed as well. Could be a fun card because like there's going to come a point where your opponent's just not going to be able to or not going to want to discard a card, and you're getting the draw. And drawing cards is never bad.
Okay, we have one location with Hidden Cove, Tranquil Haven. 1 cost inkable with 6 willpower and 1 move cost. No lore. But the ability Revitalizing Waters, characters get +1 strength and +1 willpower one while here. A nice, cheap little location, and yeah, I don't know.
Maybe in draft this could be kind of cool.
Draft, I feel like, is the place for this one, but I can't really imagine a place for this thing constructed.
No, no. Oh well, not every. I've noticed that the locations are very hit or miss. They're either obvious. It's like an obvious play, or it's like I don't know that I would ever do this other than draft. All right, our first Ruby card is Beast Wounded. He is a 3-cost inkable Storyborn Hero Prince with 2 strength, 6 willpower, and 2 lore. He has the ability that hurts. This character enters play with 4 damage. I like him a lot. I think this guy has a lot of upside potential, especially in like a Ruby Amber heal and go deck, basically.
Yeah, and obviously they're trying to build something with Ruby Amethyst and the moving damage thing with the bell cards and all that. And then even Ruby Sapphire with Grandpappy having characters that you can play and have damage ready to go on them.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it.
So next up, Flynn Rider, Frenemy, 2 cost inkable, 2/2 with one lore, Hero Prince Storyborn, and the ability Narrow Advantage. At the start of your turn, if you have a character in play with more strength than each opposing character, gain 3 lore. It definitely goes with the snuggly duckling theme of wanting to have high strength characters.
Yep.
So just having them out while you have some big guys on board, get some extra lore at the start of your turn. I
That's
feel
kind
like
of
he's pretty solid.
that's kind of crazy too, man. Like 3 lore, like because it's not because if if your opponents don't have a character, then Flynn meets this prerequisite.
Right.
Oh man,
So as long as you can keep their board empty or just keep playing this high strength stuff,
I could see
this
this
could
being a
just sit
really
on the board as long as you don't exert them. And
exactly.
yeah,
I could see this being a good post be prepared play as well.
oh yeah.
Great card. I think is really solid, honestly.
Okay, Li Shang, General Sun, one cost inkable 2/2 with one lore. Our standard 1/2/2.
Yep.
Awesome.
Betty's gonna have a shift card in the next set or two to take advantage of this guy because
That's
this
true,
is like
but
perfect.
of the shift ones, I feel like Li Shang shift is one that you just play out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, because all he does is give your other stuff extra lore,
Yeah,
and don't really need to shift for
it's
that.
true. That's true. We're gonna go with Mulan, Injured Soldier. She's a one cost inkable, 2 strength, willpower, one lore, storyborn hero princess with the ability Battle Wound. This character in display with 2 damage. Again, I think this is just playing right into the play something and be able to heal it right away to take advantage of its boosted stats. I
Yeah,
think this is an obvious play in that deck, with this being the 1 drop, Beast Wounded being the 3 drop, having
yeah,
some low cost amber healing stuff to take advantage of that.
yeah. Definitely, some sort of deck is going to come from these inner play with
Yep.
damage
Yep.
cards
Yep.
because we got Milan, Beast, Mother Gothel
Yep.
from set 2 or 3. So we've got quite a few of those now.
Yep.
So I feel like there's going to be some sort of deck
Yep.
coming out of that.
It's only a matter of time.
So that makes our next one Nessus River Guardian, deep cut from Hercules. If you remember the centaur creature from early in the movie that he had to fight.
Yeah, the River Guardian is what I always called him.
Yep. Villain Storyborn, 6 cost inkable, 7/5 with 2 lore, vanilla. Very solid guy.
Yeah.
I feel like he's a bit more playable than the 8 cost 8/8 that we talked about
Agreed.
earlier for
Agreed. Yeah.
draft.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I think 6 ink is a lot more achievable
Oh,
for
100%. Yeah.
draft.
Yeah, I think he'll see a lot of play in draft. I don't think there's a place for him in constructed though, as with most vanillas. Okay, I think our next card is Noi, Acrobatic Baby, which is just an insane thing to say.
Yep.
We have Noi, Acrobatic Baby. She is a 4 cost, inkable, storyborn ally with 4 strength, 4 willpower, and 1 lore. She has the ability Fancy Footwork. Whenever you play an action, this character takes no damage from challenges this turn. Pretty cool card, honestly, I gotta say. And like, she's a baby. How is she so powerful? Like,
I don't know. I watched the movie and I am still baffled by Noi.
that's wild.
She is just full of energy and can do whatever she wants from what I've learned from the movie. She just does whatever.
Right, right.
4/4 for a baby.
Yeah.
Wow.
Strong baby, man. She's like outclassing full on soldiers and stuff, man.
Yeah.
Stronger than the beast.
Yeah.
Fun little card though. I mean, I don't know. I don't think the actions matter deck has really come about yet, but still a fun little card.
I feel like when those decks do come into fruition, this is definitely a contender for that deck.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, Sizu, Daring Visitor, 3 cost uninkable, 1/1 with 1 lore, Dragon Hero Deity Storyborn, evasive, and bring on the heat. When you play this character, banish chosen opposing character with 1 strength or less. This is rough. Because there's not a lot of stuff that's played that only has one strike. The only real one that I can think of that you would really want to banish would be like Haram.
Hiram and Curse Merfolk.
Curse Merfolk, yeah.
But I don't know that those two cards justify this card being played. Maybe. I mean, I guess Curse Merfolk and Hiram are they are both played, and they are both pretty important to their decks. Hiram more so, but like,
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe just as that counter Hiram play for Ruby. I mean, that might be the play, honestly.
Yeah, maybe tech one of these just for the mirror.
There you go. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Honestly, yep.
I mean, I guess you could combo it with some of the strength reducing stuff in Sapphire or Amber.
Oh, there you go too. Yep, that's definitely a
Uh,
way. That's definitely a way.
yeah, but that requires extra cards to
Yeah.
make her see play. So we'll see.
I mean, she's a little an evasive. So I mean, you're getting one lore off probably once or twice. So
Yeah,
fun
potentially.
little card. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, our next card is Tong Survivor. He is a 4-cost uninkable Storyborn ally with 3 strength, 6 willpower, no lore, and reckless. Not a big fan of Tong.
No, Reckless doesn't feel as great when it doesn't have Rush
Yeah,
paired with it.
yeah. And that 3 strength is gonna be hard to get over some hurdles with that 3 strength, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's got the willpower to stick around,
Yes,
but yeah, he's not taking too much out. All right, the Plank, 3 cost uninkable with the ability Walk. It is an item, and you pay 2 and banish the item, and you choose one. You banish chosen hero character or ready chosen villain character. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. Interesting.
very interesting. I just wish you didn't have to banish it. I wish this was something you could keep doing.
Yeah, it's basically 5 for a very specific Dragonfire or a very specific Fan the Flames.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a bit expensive for my tastes.
Yeah, I don't think the utility is enough to justify the cost.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool card. I mean, I love the art. It's a cool
Yeah.
concept, but I just, like you said, too expensive.
Too expensive for my taste. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So
All right.
our last Ruby card is Training Grounds, Impossible Pillar. It is a 1-cost inkable location with 1 move cost, 5 willpower, and the ability Strength of Mind. If you pay 1 ink, chosen character here gets +1 strength this turn. It'll see play in draft maybe, but I could never see this getting play in constructed. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't generate lore, and it's a repeatable combat trick. Yeah, I don't see it seeing a lot of
Yeah.
play at all.
Of the Ruby locations, it's going to be the Snuggly Duckling, probably.
Yep.
If anything. All right. Oh, of course I get the one I don't remember how they said it. Iduna, Caring Mother, 4-cost inkable, 3/3 with 1 lore, and the ability of Enduring Love, the same for every dead Disney parent.
Yep.
When this character is banished, you may put this card face down into your Inkwell Exerted. Same as we've seen, but inkable. But again, on that later side, you usually want to do your ramping earlier in the game.
Yeah, I
But
think we already have Grammatala for this.
yeah, pairs with Grammatala.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's okay. It's not like you said.
okay.
It's a little late for me for ramp, but ramp isn't usually ever bad unless it's like super late. So I mean, depending on when you can get this down, maybe you can find a way to get it down early. Who knows? Maybe you're playing
Yep.
some crazy Sapphire Amber build where you're playing 7 drops on turn 4 or something weird. I don't know.
Right.
All right. So our next card is Olaf, Trusting Companion. He's a 1-drop inkable, 1/2 with 1 lore, and he has support. He's okay. Like I said, support's not great. So art's cool though. He's got the little hat
Yep.
that was Anna was looking for Franz,
Yeah,
right?
Christoph.
Or Christoph.
Christoph's hat, and he does make a nice little shift target for the Flipborn Olaf
True.
we got.
That's true.
So
That's true.
next up, I believe, will be Triton,
Yep.
Young Prince, Young Triton, very cool looking.
Yeah, love that art. Love that art.
4 cost uninkable, 3/4 with 1 lore and 2 abilities. First of all is Superior Swimmer. During your turn, this character gains evasive. And then Keeper of Atlantica. Whenever one of your locations is banished, you may put that card in your inkwell face down and exerted. So basically, making your locations not feel as wasted if they get challenged into.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. There could be a really fun um Ruby Sapphire locations build that you could do. That could be a lot of fun because you could have Jim in there because Jim plays a location for free, right?
Yep.
Yeah, see that could be a lot of fun. Playing one for free, and then if it goes away, it's now
Yep. And he
ink.
comes the turn right after
Yep,
Triton.
yep.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. It could be a lot of fun. I don't know that it'll how powerful it'll be yet. I think we still need some better um locations. I guess maybe you could run like Snuggly Ducklings and McDuck Manors, just all the duck lands or duck locations apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool card. And like you said, I think this art is amazing. Like a lot of people forget that Triton wasn't always an old man. All right. Our last character card in Sapphire is Tuk Tuk, Curious Partner. 2-drop, inkable, 2/3 with 1 lore. He's a vanilla. Aside from being an adorable little guy, that's about all he's got going for him.
Yep. All right. Moving on to one of the most interesting items for this set, I think, just story wise, is Ice Block. It's a 1 cost uninkable, and the ability Chilly Labor, exert, and chosen character gets -1 strength this turn. I definitely like of the strength reducing stuff. I like it the most just because it sits on the board and you can just activate it whenever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Uh,
use it precisely when you need it. Like it's
y-
only ever that one ink cost. You don't have to invest any more ink into it. I do like
right.
this as far as that goes, for sure.
Yeah, that's what really gets me about some of the items when you have to pay for it and then an extra crazy amount of ink to pop off the ability as well. So I feel like this one's solid, and uh, I don't know if it sees any play yet, but when that strength reducing stuff really comes into play and works with all of the some really crazy cards, I think it could find a home there.
Oh, for sure. I think so. It and the were you saying like story wise this is very interesting? Is that what you were talking about? Story wise, this is pretty interesting because like that.
Yeah, because this is a block of frozen ink.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think that's pretty crazy too. That's nuts because I didn't realize I'd never read the flavor text until you brought that up. But that's pretty interesting to think about.
Yep.
All right. Our last Sapphire card is Winter Camp Medical Tent. It is a 3-cost inkable location with 1 move cost, 8 willpower, and 1 lore. Its ability is Help the Wounded. Whenever a character quests while here, remove up to 2 damage from them. If they're a hero character, remove up to 4 damage from them. This is pretty interesting, honestly. I'm not mad at this location. This might be a contender for a really playable location. For 3
Yep.
cost, having 8 willpower, that's pretty good in and of itself. And that ability is not bad either.
And it does have lore, so
Yeah,
even if you don't get to use the ability, you do get a lore return.
I like that.
It's not nothing.
Yeah, I like this location a lot, honestly, and it's a common. That's fun. That's really nice. All right,
Yeah.
cool, good
Yeah,
stuff.
something with Sapphire and their common locations being really good.
Yeah, right. All right, moving on to steel. There's a
All
beast
right.
all the way near the bottom. All right, we're gonna move on to I think my personal favorite card of the entire set. We have Piglet, Sturdy Swordsman. He is a 5-cost, uninkable, Dreamborn hero with 3 strength, 5 willpower, and 3 lore. He has resist 1 and the ability Not So Small Anymore. While you have no cards in your hand, this character can challenge ready characters. I like this card. I like this card a lot.
He is definitely like the counter card for Emerald Steel discard.
Yep. Like, go ahead. Go ahead. You're just standing there smiling. Go ahead. Make me discard. that resist one, that's clutch. And I mean, even if like, you got to understand, even if you have cards in your hand, he's still questing for 3.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is just a great card. No matter what way it's an immediate target to have to be dealt with, or you're gonna just start gaining a ton of value.
And what is it with Piglet getting such stinking cute art?
I don't know, man. This art is amazing, though. This, like I said, this is
The Pooh Pirate Captain from
yep.
last set is probably my favorite art from last set, and this one is way up there too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, Piglet, stop being so cute.
Yeah, exactly. Can't handle it.
Raya, Unstoppable Force, 7 cost, inkable, 3/6 with 2 willpower, hero, Dreamborn Princess. You have Challenger to Resist to, and the ability you gave it your best during your turn. Whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may draw a card. So basically, a bigger, non shiftable Robin Hood. But at the cost, you get Challenger and Resist. But I feel like this is much too slow
Yeah.
because you are not getting to go and swing in, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's unfortunately just costs so darn much. Other than that, I do really quite like this card. It's going to be hard to it's hard to in a challenge deal with her in any aspect. Um yeah, I don't know. She's not I wish she just was, if she was even like 1 less, I think she'd be definitely be
Yeah.
more a contender for being way more playable. Or I'm
Yeah.
surprised this isn't like a shift. Honestly, I'm surprised they're
Yeah, if this was a shift Rhea, then no
yeah
question, she'd be great.
yeah
Swinging in for 5/6,
yeah
yeah.
exactly. Um, all right, our last character card for steel is Yao, Imperial Soldier, rounding out the trio from Mulan. He is a 4 cost inkable storyborn ally with 2 strength, 5 willpower, 1 lore, and Challenger 2. Not terrible. I actually like the Challenger ability on stuff quite a bit, and
Yeah.
I think that he's a solid card. You know, he's challenging for 4. He's got that 5 willpower. It's a pretty decent card.
Yeah, he is solid,
Yeah,
especially for draft.
yeah.
Avalanche, 4 cost uninkable action. With the ability deal 1 damage to each opposing character, you may banish chosen location. So blowing up the mountain and doing 1 damage to everything gets very thematic, but I don't know if this will see a ton of play.
I mean, for 1 more and singable, you have swords. So
And for 2 more, you have Tinkerbell.
yeah. So
Yeah, I
unfortunately, I
know.
just don't think that this is going to make the cut
Yeah,
for a
unless
playable.
there is such an insanely problematic location,
Yeah, yeah,
I think you would rather play Along Came Zeus
yep,
and be able to sing it for free.
yep, exactly.
And yeah, but we'll see. Maybe there will be some busted location and that cares about 1 health thing swing at it.
Maybe.
And then this card would be absolutely the counter to
Right.
that.
Exactly. All right, our next action is Titan's Decree. It's a 1 cost uninkable action that says each opponent chooses one of their characters and deals 2 damage to them. It's interesting, but I don't know. I don't know that I like letting my opponent choose. I guess you're playing it early, so they probably don't have too many things to choose from.
You know where this card is best? Going like fourth in a multiplayer game.
You're 100% right. You are that. You're absolutely right. If you're going last, you drop the Titans decree and be like, well, you see, guys, you see what
You
happens
wasted your
now.
first turn.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. I like that. I'm going to use that strategy. Look out, multiplayer tables.
All right, and then our last one is the Fortisphere. 1 cost inkable item with 2 abilities. Resourceful. When you play this item, you may draw a card. And Extract of Steel. Pay 1 ink, banish this item. Chosen character of yours gains bodyguard until the start of your next turn. So another cantrip with steel.
Yep.
I don't know if you really use the bodyguard effect too often.
I don't know that you do, honestly. I think you this might be one of those. It's part of like an aerial build where you're really just trying to get as many items out as you can, because this it replaces
Yeah,
itself, so it's perfect for that application and
yeah.
inkable. So
It's just tough that it banishes itself
yeah, that I
because
don't like that. I don't like that. I
you usually want to use the items for banishing for like Hiram.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
I guess this makes Hiram a pretty good bodyguard if you need.
True.
Uh, but other than that, yeah, I think you're mainly just using this for the card draw.
Yep. Yep. I would agree.
So thank you all for sticking around this long to for us going through all of the cards. I hope you found it entertaining, and please be sure to comment and subscribe and follow and interact with us on our socials so you can stay up to date on whatever's coming. I know Atlanta is going to be soon,
Yes.
and we're going to be talking about
Yep.
that.
I will be I will be flying out to Atlanta that Friday. And once I'm back, I'm sure we will be talking all about that experience. And then 2 weeks after that, Chicago. So lots of big stuff to look forward to in the near future,
Yeah.
folks.
So lots to look forward to. So be sure to follow us, and as always, Glimmer on.